advanced placement chemistry, AP chemistry, for 12 or 13 years. My last year's teaching, no more than that, 15, would come to my house and prepare a dinner from scratch, everything from scratch. Bread from scratch, gathering herbs and lettuce and things in the garden for a salad. Prepare the dinner, and their parents would come, and we would all eat together, and the girls had to describe the chemistry involved with every step of the process, and very, very interesting discussions. Everybody learned. Parents would ask a question, and
their child would answer.
I would insist that the kids answered it so the parents could really see that they understood the concepts behind. Because chemistry is such is so much more involved with understanding concepts and relationships and patterns than it is just memorizing.
When right now one of our viewers is a child in school, elementary, junior high, high school, and they're thinking, who do I want to be when I grow up? Why should they study a hard science instead of law or business or something like that?
Not everybody is going to find the joy of solving problems in chemistry.
Well, any hard science, just hard science in general.
Right. There are so many, many opportunities in so many different fields that having a degree in a hard science opens the doors to employers knowing that they have had success in a subject that is challenging. And
so you think even if they wanted to pursue a profession outside of science, having a science degree would hold them in good stead?
Yes, very definitely. The students that I've had in the advanced sciences have about 75% of them who chose the harder path of getting a major in high school in the sciences and went on to college. 75% of the students in the advanced chemistry have gone on to pursue advanced degrees, whether masters or PhDs or MDs or DDS. And there are others who have, yes, gone on for advanced degrees, but are in law or in advertising,
business,
or in teaching Latin and Greek at the university. So it has, and business certainly as well.
Please tell us a little bit briefly about your service to the various agencies trying to protect the Bolsa Chica wetlands.
Okay. It started, I think, with AAUW studying the area of 1,600 acres that had a development plan for thousands of homes, 8,500 homes, in an area that was degraded wetlands, an oil field.
It was a depleted oil field, is that correct?
Not yet.
So they're still pumping oil?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes. But it was a field that had been very active discovered in the 40s and very active, very strong supplies coming from here. But yes, some of the wells were becoming depleted, and it was not land that the public could go onto because of the oil operations. And as and as an area became available that oil was disappearing, the landowner, Signal Oil, felt it was time to make a little more money out of it and develop houses as everybody else was doing on the open space here in Orange County at the time. So with AUW studying the human use of urban space, and League of Women Voters studying the Orange County Land Use Plan, and I became interested in those just as a citizen, and speaking out occasionally at city council meetings. And in 1970 was appointed to city council by Norma Gibbs as the head of a new organization, the Huntington Beach Environmental Council, that was advisory to city council, studying any environmental issues. We developed the first recycling centers in the county. We developed the bicycle trails here and the start of the Santa Ana River Trail through that council. Those were environmental things that piqued my interest, and took a lot of volunteer time while I was working part-time and raising a young family. When the Environmental Council was also studying every environmental impact report that came in for every single development wherever it was in the city. And when the project for the Bolsa Chica came forward, it took a lot of our time to study it and to see that there were many topics, many areas of interest to the general public. And by having programs telling the public about the area and actually taking tours out in the area, we realized the wildlife that was there that we didn't see from the highway zooming by. It was really, for me and for others, a place for psychic relief, where you could really feel you're not anywhere near the urban sprawl that we have here.
Even though you're very, very close to it.
Yes.
So it's not like you have to go to Big Bear to get away.
No, exactly. But we couldn't get out onto the private land. So when the opportunity for saving a part of the land as a public ecological reserve and allowing the landowner to develop some of his property, when that was one of the options that we suggested and spoke for. In 1973, there was an agreement to that. In 1979, there was an opening of the first ecological reserve, the 320 acres, which the developer was willing to give up, of course, originally state land anyway, but to give up for ecological reserve, with their opportunity to also develop and intensify the development and create a marina in the rest of the property. From one step to another, just increasing the public awareness.
Okay.
Increasing the public awareness of the beauty of the area, of the need for wildlife on the migratory.
Were you able to stop the intensified development later?
Yes, through a lawsuit and through continuous fighting. It was 1976 that a separate single-purpose organization was formed as a result of the interest that had been developed and understanding from AUW, the League, and the Environmental Council.
What year did the Coastal Commission, was it formed?
1972.
So it was already involved in your process at this point, or not?
Yes. But because the lawsuit was brought in, I I'm not sure when the lawsuit started. It was in the
In the
mid-70s.
70s, okay.
Mid-70s. And that delayed any active planning going on for actually 10 years. And it was the late 80s before a revised development plan came that passed a certain stage of the city, and the Coastal Commission was indeed supporting supporting the preservation of space along the coast. Since
That's their primary thing, is to keep the coast as close to original as possible.
Right, and so the idea of a restoration plan, even for the first 300 acres of the ecological reserve that opened in 1979, was to create diversity of habitats for increasing the diversity of species. With the birds that are on the migratory path, the ducks coming down in the wintertime from Canada and Alaska, the terns coming up in the numbers of 40,000 and more, breeding in the Bolsa Chica in the summertime. It's a very, very important place for resting, for nesting, for supporting the wildlife that are here year-round or here at any time.
Migratory.
Which includes 5 endangered species, 4 only now because the peregrine falcon and the brown pelican have had enough areas protected for them that
So they're no longer endangered.
that they are off the
That's wonderful.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. One of our viewers is one of those people that drive by on the freeway.
Mhm.
They drive on the 55, they drive on the 22, the 405, the 91. Why should they care whether these endangered species thrive or die off? What difference does it really make to some guy commuting from Corona to Redondo Beach?
Having some place where they can get away from the rush and bustle and urban sprawl, to enjoy nature, to relax, to be able to let their pace of life slow down a little so that they can look at, enjoy the diversity of things that make up a natural area. With the parking areas now in the ecological reserve, 2 parking areas, there are many days that those small parking lots are totally filled with people that are just making a stop between their drive from San Diego to Los Angeles, and they get off the freeway to enjoy a ride along the 8.5 miles of open ocean front in Huntington Beach that has 2 major areas on the inland side that have been developed, have been restored for wildlife protection, for the wildlife itself, and for people to enjoy, with areas as large as the Bolsa Chica, with the 880 acres that was restored after the purchase by the state in 2006. There is now a new opening to the ocean where water can come in that is much richer than what comes into the original reserve. And the number of commercial fish species, the number of sport fish that use the Bolsa Chica as a nursery, as a feeding place, that enriches the surf fishing. It enriches the fishing offshore because the size of the halibut that is caught offshore is increasing because the nursery potential is there. And so maybe the person driving on the freeways is headed to take a fishing boat to
Or they want to order halibut at the restaurant and...
right, the local catch of the day. There's greater variety.
Are you done restoring Bolsa Chica and your job now is just to preserve what has been done, or is there more that needs to be done?
There is definitely more that needs to be done. The land that was acquired in 1997 by the state with support, with money from the Port of Los Angeles and Port of Long Beach, so-called mitigation credit for the habitats, the fishing habitats